and everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Oh, and Rumble channel. Whichever one you happen to be watching it on. So, in this video, I'm going to do a review of Dragon Ball Daima, Episode 12, True Strength. Oh boy, lots of surprises in that episode. Excuse me. Oh, and it's also English dub. I do not do English sub because then I'd have to constantly pause so I can read everything. Nope. I don't know why they didn't just release sub and dub at the same time, so that people can watch whichever one they prefer. But that's a topic for another video. So, I made some notes on my phone about the episode, because whenever I watched the episode last Friday, I take notes. Well, I'm left-handed, technically. Yeah, it's weird, I write left-handed, and these computer right-handed. No, I guess it's because us left-handed people have learned to adapt. But that's a topic for another video. So, the episode opens. Okay, so if you remember, at the end of the last episode, it seemed as though Vegeta and the Tamagami were swallowed by the kraken. Stop yawning, me. So this episode opens where they escape from the kraken. Vegeta manages to defeat that kraken, not the kraken, the Tamagami. Well, hold on a second, while I make sure I'm not skipping anything. Okay, so I guess that's later on in the episode. Vegeta and the Tamagami manage to escape from the kraken. They continue their fight. Meanwhile, Majin Ku is fighting the first Demon World Tamagami, and suddenly he wants chocolate. I mean, the guy was kind of winning a little bit, and then he wants chocolate, and he starts to throw a little tantrum. So I guess he does sort of take after the fat Majin Ku after all, in that sense. Yeah, so imagine, so he's refusing to fight because he wants chocolate. He's getting beat up, and he's on the verge of losing, all because he wants chocolate. And he probably would have lost if Majin Ku, who is pretty much his older brother, if that's how it works. I don't know how that would work. Anyways, he sort of sees that Majin Ku sort of sees Majin Ku as a brother. So yeah, so Majin Ku decides to go get him some chocolate. And then after that, Majin Ku ends up defeating the Tamagami and has to solve a math equation. Excuse me. Which Majin Ku gave him the answer to, because Majin Ku I guess has a very high IQ and could and knew the answer to the question, was listening very carefully, and then whispered the answer to Majin Ku, which I don't know if that's D-U-U or D-U. So he just gave him the answer, and answers correctly, and now Arinsu has the first Demon World Dragon Ball. Meanwhile, Vegeta, like I said, is fighting the other Tamagami in the second Demon World. and obviously Degasu and Gomah are watching the whole thing, including, which I guess I don't want to get too ahead of myself in that scene. That's later on in the episode. Okay. Okay, so meanwhile, Vegeta and the second world Tamagami are fighting, and Neva, however you pronounce his name, did something to make that Tamagami a little bit stronger, because he knows that the Saiyans like the challenge. And sorry. Yeah, and the Gomah and Degasu are watching the whole thing. Oh yeah, Vegeta manages to go Super Saiyan 3, and he defeats the second Demon World Tamagami. And let's see, and he has to solve a word puzzle. I don't remember exactly what that word puzzle was. Something about snakes and cookies. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's a word problem. Yeah, word problem, word puzzle, same difference I have in my notes. So yeah, Vegeta goes Super Saiyan 3 and defeats the second Demon World Tamagami. So now, Goku and his friends, well, Goku's group is what I'm going to call them. Yeah, since they're all together, I'm just going to call them Goku's group. They now have 2 Dragon Balls. And since Arinsu has a 3rd Dragon Ball, and also Gomah and Degasu seem to be aware of that, and I guess they're concerned about Arinsu betraying them. I guess the way that episode ends, okay, like Gomah is planning something. The way that it ends, it seems like the final confrontation. Well, excuse me, not final. The confrontation begins in the next episode, where they're all gonna confront Gomah. But before they do that, they have to confront Arinsu. So, I imagine that the next episode, they're going to arrive in episode 13. I don't know the name of the episode. They're going to go. They're going to show up at the first Dragon Ball. The first Demon World Tamagami. They're going to find out that he's already been defeated. Arinsu has that Dragon Ball. So now they're going to have to go to Arinsu. That might be when Glorio decides to show his true colors. I do not know. Because now that Arinsu has that Dragon Ball, all he has to do is steal the other 2 and bring it back to her, because they seem to be working together. Or maybe he's going to wait until and lure try to get Goku and this group to Arinsu's place before showing his true colors. Maybe that's how it works. So yeah, if there's something suspicious, because we know that he is acting weird, because it seems like the final competition is going to begin in episode 13. Gomah has a plan. They're going to have to confront Arinsu to get the 3rd Dragon Ball. I mean, I would be surprised if the final confrontation doesn't begin just yet, and it's just about them traveling to the next Demon World, the first world Demon World, and going through whatever opposition goes there. Let's see. I believe I got everything in my notes. Yeah, that's why I keep looking at my phones. I have notes on my phone whenever I'm watching a video episodes. I pause it. I take notes about what's going on. What is the relevant notes? So yeah, it seems like I said, they are about ready to have the final confrontation in the next couple of episodes. Especially if there's only 20 episodes. And I don't know if they're going to continue it. And I give my overall thoughts on it at the end of the show. So I guess a week after I do episode 20, or maybe right after I do a review of episode 20, and then a week after that I might do what I think about it being a remake of Dragon Ball GT. So yeah. So far the plot is very interesting. It is very good. Although I do not see it how it's going to reconcile with Dragon Ball Super or with the 10-year time skip. I guess we're just going to have to assume that this is going to take place in a alternative timeline, an alternative maybe not timeline, like an alternate reality where, because we're going to have to assume that Dragon Ball GT and the 10-year piece, at the end of Dragon Ball Z, and then going into Dragon Ball GT, we're going to have to assume that takes place in a timeline, in an alternate reality where the events of Super never took place. Because at that point, that was before Akira Toriyama even thought about Dragon Ball Super. And it's my understanding that Dragon Ball Super was a response to Dragon Ball Evolution. That is what I've heard recently. I never knew that until I heard it a couple years ago. When Super first came out, I didn't know about that. But I did hear that Dragon Ball Evolution was so bad that even Akira Toriyama himself didn't like it. That is bad. That should tell you something about how bad that movie was. Let's see. Anyways, like I said, it's overall not so bad. It might be interesting to view it as in sort of an alternate reality. Because there was no way to reconcile it with Super. It's just not going to happen at this point. There is no way. And there's also no way to reconcile Super with GT. I am rambling. That is a different topic. That's a topic for another video. I don't know, maybe Friday should be like Dragon Ball Friday or something, even after I finish with Super. With Daima, I don't know. Of course, it doesn't have to necessarily be Friday. I can just do Dragon Ball, any random Dragon Ball topic, any other day of the week. Yeah. Anyways, that is it for this video. It's not a bad episode. So yeah.